The people of the kingdom would be oppressed by the corrupt king and emperor until they could take it no longer. The king would rule over his kingdom, which was surrounded by an imperial iron wall. Let's call this Wall Maria. And he would rule it with an iron fist, creating unfair laws for the people and greatly punishing those who would dare to disobey, issuing royal decrees, imperial orders, imperial customs, prohibitions, heavily taxing the poor civilians of the kingdom, and would punish those who could not fulfill them. The king had no mercy. The poor people of the kingdom would have to pay these heavy tolls as said by the king, with the toll only getting higher and higher. If they could not fulfill these, then they would have to make some very painful choices as to what they would use to pay these taxes, or even have their belongings confiscated from them. The king would hire some dimensional warriors for secret jobs unknown to the people and would burn the paperwork to hide his deeds from the masses. The king would also host secret meetings, and during those meetings the king would use his forceful century to make sure the meetings go in his favor by forcing the opposing party to sign off on whatever he wanted. The civilians of the kingdom were oppressed, but it wouldn't end there. Those who would dare to disobey the king would face the royal command. The royal command would punish these acts of rebellion by throwing them into royal prison. By the looks of it, the people of the kingdom aren't the only ones breaking the rules around here. These prisoners would join together and form the exiled force. The king was not the only form of corrupt power in the kingdom, however. The kingdom also had a tyrannical emperor, and when he wasn't busy off on a holiday, he would be at the kingdom, letting his temper get the better of him and taking it out on his captain, going on tirades on his field commander, and sometimes even going on full-blown tantrums with whichever unlucky soul or attack force would be nearby on the receiving end. When no one was around for him to take his anger out on, the tyrant would just lash out on whatever was around him, with the guards' futile attempt to calm him down. When he wasn't throwing tantrums, the tyrant would either be gorging himself with food or falling asleep on the job. The people of the kingdom had had enough living like this, so they all decided to join together and form a united resistance to overthrow the corrupt powers of the kingdom. Together, this united resistance would form a huge revolution against the powers that be. Side note, in Rush Duel they have insect versions of these cards where they're all ants, and they have fun names like Oppressed Ants, Ants Running About, United Ants, and Giant Revolution. And I found that out while making this video, and I just thought it was actually really funny, and I just wanted to share it. Rush Duel is pretty cool. You guys should check it out. Okay, back to the lore. The people would form a huge revolution to overthrow the power of the kingdom and get payback on the kingdom. The emperor would attempt to put a stop to this by using his guards to seize the crowd and shut them down. However, the people were prepared for this. The exiled forces were waiting on the outskirts of the kingdom in the form of a throwstone unit. This throwstone unit would use catapults to launch rocks into the castle and bombard it. The kingdom, now in shambles, would surrender to the people. The revolution would be a success. The people, now filled with joy, they had finally achieved liberty at last. Free from the tyranny of the kingdom, the king would no longer need the emperor, seeing what the people would be capable of, and the emperor would wander the streets among the people who despise him the most. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it this far in the video, and a special thank you to my patrons, TWR Gaming, Paul, Kaiserin, Tyrannicule, and Skull Servant for supporting me over on Patreon. It really means the world to you guys. Thank you so much. Go check it out if you feel like it. If not, thanks so much for watching anyways. I really appreciate it. And that's the lore of how